very different in terms of what you're doing with Netflix on August 27th. So it's GTA 6, an extended look. What is this going to, can you tell us a little bit about this? I mean, is this like an extended, is it a game trailer? Is it a movie? Is it a show? What
you have asked all the questions that will be answered on the 27th.
Oh, come on, Strauss.
I expect you to show
a little
up.
bit of a hint.
The hint is
Strauss Zelnick is here, CEO of Take-Two Interactive. Yeah, there's a lot of people who want this. And what are you seeing? Nice to see
really
you.
good. So obviously pre-orders have gone much better than expected. So our excitement continues to grow.
And you have to deliver, though. I mean,
yes.
I assume you think that you've nailed this thing, because this has been a long wait. Trust me, my children will tell you about the wait.
You know, we never claimed victory before.
So the important thing as well to note here is that when Strauss goes on this show, this is CNBC. This is the business channel, not the gaming channel. So he will be talking about what investors should be expecting, not so much about how exciting the police gameplay systems will work and so on. And this did happen, like a week after the earnings call, so...
Before it occurs. Right. I know that our Rockstar Games division has tried to innovate and understands that as great as the anticipation is, we need to exceed expectations. I believe that we will.
How much do you think of this as a front-loaded... I was actually thinking about this over the weekend when I knew we were going to see you. How much of this is like a movie? Like 50% of the sales of something like this happen in the first couple of weeks, and then it sort of it drifts off, or is it actually go the opposite way over time?
It really depends on the title. So in the case of Grand Theft Auto 5, it's continued to sell. We've sold 230 million units, and it's continued to perform through 3 console generations. So in that case, it was and remains the standard bearer, not just for our company, but also...
The other thing I've noticed, though, is that when Andrew is the guy who does the interviews, I noticed that he asked, like, is there a long tail of sales at the end? But if he, and maybe he isn't, but if you look at the quarterly earnings report, it's literally right there. Take-Two have made very, very clear this is about live service, which means that the sales right now, I mean, there's a reason why they're putting, like, no marketing right now into GTA 6, is because they don't need to. It's mostly going to be, there will be marketing put in, but it'll be put in at this rate, it seems like, once the game has launched, so that they can actually retarget and sell very clear propositions. And my biggest guess with that will be them doing it for GTA Online, because that will funnel towards GTA Plus, which is literally what we're seeing right now. When we look at the meta ads library, we can see they're putting everything into GTA Online, because that's the one thing that doesn't always sell itself. Like GTA 6 is obvious. Everyone's going to buy it. We all know it, right? So.
For the industry over 13 years. Now, of course, we could never project that to occur again, but that is an historical fact.
Go ahead.
You said that pre-orders have been unprecedented, but you don't know how it'll translate into sales.
You just, to the point Andrew just made, you just can't tell.
So people might not actually buy it in the end?
Oh, no, I think...
buy even more.
I think the odds are very high that the pre-orders turn into sales. I think, to Andrew's point, we can't tell if that's demand that was pulled forward because of initial excitement of, you know, the most avid consumers, or whether...
This is aura. This is aura from Strauss. And the reason being is that, like, I don't know how many people watch, like people who play GTA, who watch CNBC regularly, but as someone who's also run channels in the business and the finance sector and so on and so forth, like I've watched a lot of CNBC, Bloomberg, etc. Most CEOs are not like this when they're talking on, especially on, is this Squawk Box potentially? I think it's Squawk Box with like Andrew Sorkin. I can't remember, unfortunately, the woman's name, but this is aura from him, because they're constantly like trying to show that they are like the biggest company in the game, like they beat their competitors already, that they've got the most sales. And Strauss is out here being like, we can't count our pre-order sales until they've actually confirmed, until they've actually gone through. A lot of CEOs would simply say, now we got all these pre-order sales, we're going to tell you as much as we can about it. He's being humble, which it's a really good look. It's a really good look. And he is correct, is that, you know, you can't count these things until they've actually been completed, but it's also a pretty likely realistic case that the pre-orders are going to complete regardless.
It reflects something very different. There's just no history from which to extrapolate.
Right.
How do you think about pricing? for this particular title?
So we've established an $80 price
Right.
point, a $100 price point for the regular edition and the premium edition. And I think most people felt that if we wanted to exert it, we had a great deal of pricing power. Our job, though, as we see it, is to deliver always way more value to the consumer than what we charge. And we want to do that over and over and over again. We understand that a consumer experience is the intersection of the thing itself and what you paid for it.
Right.
And so we want people to be thrilled, and we would never want people to feel like this is out of my range.
Are they pre-ordering the $99.99 one or the $79.99
Both.
one? Both. Okay.
Yes.
At equal.
So
Actually,
far, and we'll see if he comes to it, but I'm waiting for it because he hasn't done it yet. Interesting that so far, the entire conversation is centered around the pre-order sales and around the base game / premium edition sales. The reason being, we'll see if Strauss gets here or not, but their entire earnings call is about live service. That means continuous recurrent spending. That hasn't been touched yet. No one has asked him about GTA Online. That is where the stock is actually going to come from. The sales they're getting from the GTA game itself, like from the base game, absolutely massive, right? And that's what they've put into their calculations for earnings call, etc. But where this becomes a decade-long play and where essentially the majority of the earnings is going to come from is going to be live service.
Skewing more to the premium edition, but that might be a reflection, again, of the fact that the most avid consumers are the ones who are
Right.
pre-ordering.
What
now.
do you get in the $100 version that you don't get in the?
You get additional content.
And then the other question I had is, what kind of discounting do you think is going to happen or not around Christmas? Because obviously this is coming out in November. Is there a shift in pricing as people get closer to Christmas, or do you try to hold?
See, this is literally cementing my point. Everything right now, like they're talking about something that is so in the minutiae, so in the details, so kind of unimportant to a degree. I mean, they are clearly focusing, I guess, on like the next quarter, maybe that's why, but it's so interesting to see that as someone, I guess, myself, who is going to be making a crap ton of GTA 6 content for years to come. I don't even think about this stuff. Like, I'm literally, all I think about is how are they going to monetize online, largely speaking.
Hold the price? How much of it is up to you versus retailers, et cetera?
Well, we obviously establish our pricing.
Right.
And then storefronts can do what they wish. We don't have any ability to control that. So if they reduce the price, they're obviously reducing their margin on the sale. There are situations where certain retailers will price down to drive demand for other things.
Other question is, given that so much of this company has become this one particular game, are you already on to the next version of it?
Oh, so let's be clear. In terms of the percentage of our revenue, all things Grand
Hang
Theft
on,
Auto,
did
the
he
Grand
just
Theft
ask,
Auto
is the next
franchise,
game coming out soon?
Has become this one particular game. Are you already on to the next version of it?
Oh, so
much of this company has become this
How much of this company has become this game?
one particular game. Are you already on to the next version?
That's a really interesting question because Take-Two itself is way more than Rockstar Games. They own Zynga, they own, I can't remember the other ones, but they own a bunch of titles. So it's not even like Take-Two is reliant on just Rockstar Games, it's reliant on mobile gaming. That's a big chunk of what they're now earning. They've made that clear in the earnings call. So it's interesting again for them to ask if GTA 6 is like what they're betting everything on. In fairness, it's what they're betting a lot on, right? It's a huge, I mean, easily, I'm guessing the biggest property that they're going to be owning for the next decade at least.
Oh, so let's be clear. In terms of the percentage of our revenue, all things Grand Theft Auto, the Grand Theft Auto franchise, for quite some time has been less than 15% of our total revenue. So we have a big diversified company. We think we have
Did
the
he
best
just say
collection of owned
15%?
intellectual property in the business. We think we have the best collection of owned intellectual property in the business. But quite some time has been less than 15% of
Less than 15? I didn't even realize it was that little. Zynga is really popping for them then. Crikey. I mean, the earnings are out there, so I could look at it to see again, and I probably will, but I didn't realize that GTA accounted for that little. That will likely change. They never monetized GTA 6 to that level. GTA 5, sorry, to that level, ever. Never even got close to it. I've already talked about it, but they never came close to even Fortnite live service. 15 is crazy, exactly. They never came close to how much Fortnite made. And I just know, like, they were looking at Fortnite and thinking, how do we do anything like this? And the thing is that they would have been looking at it and thinking, we've got something exciting coming, because the only reason GTA 5 didn't do it was because the architecture didn't build that way. Like, it came out in 2013, Fortnite came out in 2017, and even when Fortnite came out in 2017, it wasn't ready for what it was in 2020, 2021, 2019, and so on. GTA 5 was built on very old architecture, so they just could not do the most obvious things. Like when you look at the Travis Scott concert, when you look at the Ariana Grande, when you look at Marshmallow and all these different cultural events, all of that literally would have made more sense in GTA. Just genuinely speaking, GTA is where all the radios are, where all the LA lifestyle, etc. thing is. To have them perform in GTA 5 would have made sense if they had the architecture for it there. To a certain degree, I'm actually surprised that they never even like tried to build it, because all they would have had to do is, in my understanding, is simply like release an update to allow people. But either way, GTA 6 is their next bet at it. And there's no way that they're not going to build on that. They can't. They're a public company. People are wondering, why are you not matching Epic Games' revenue for online services?
Total revenue. So we have a big diversified company. We think we have the best collection of owned intellectual property in the business.
But one of the things that's been fascinating is the stock has almost like tracked what's going on with that game. Am I wrong?
I mean, I think
or the excitement
sort
around
of
that?
wrong in that we're a very profitable company, and I think we do trade on the fundamentals. I mean, I do think we trade on our earnings. This year, we expect to deliver over $1 billion of free cash flow. By the end of the fiscal, we expect to be a net cash company again. I mean, we're not a story stock. Right. We trade on the fundamentals.
No, I know, but if you follow all the headlines and what some of the investor class, they seem to be very tied up in the future of this game.
Absolutely, and I think some expectations are very, very high. And I hope they come true. My point is that even in the event we have an extraordinary situation, something way outside of anyone's expectations, we still have an enormous business in mobile and console and PC outside.
So what he's basically saying here is that, look, we have a huge business with GTA 6 coming up. We are not at the same time, because again, this is for investors. This isn't for us gamers. What he is specifically saying here is, even if GTA 6 flops, we got you covered. And that's why he's made very clear that it's a tiny percentage, under 15. That's really interesting that he's kind of giving Take-Two like that barrier of defense of, look, even if this massive thing that everyone is talking about doesn't work out, we're still going to give you money, like to investors.
Grand Theft Auto. We've diversified the company meaningfully. We have 11 intellectual properties that have each sold over 5 million units in an initial release. We have an enormous, more than $3 billion top line mobile business. Right. Enormous.
And that's really important as well, because Epic Games are in a similar boat. Not saying that it's only 15%, like Fortnite is only 15%. We don't actually know because it's not a public company. But what we do know is that Epic Games literally was built off of the Unreal Engine at first, and then obviously it turned into more than that. And now the Unreal Engine is licensed to all the big developers and so on and so forth. So, but it's always interesting to see how they class these things to investors, just given what their portfolio is, which in this case would be, the Zynga games and obviously Bully, Red Dead Redemption, so on.
Hits and hopefully more coming.
And NBA 2K was a huge, was a big
NBA 2K set records this year with 12 million units sold in and recurrent consumers.
And even me, as someone who's been working in gaming and content, all these things for like a decade now, I even didn't mention NBA 2K because it's not something I personally, it's like one of the few games that I haven't covered. So it's just wild that, and I know that's a huge property. So the fact that like even I missed that one just because their portfolio is so large is insane.
Spending was up 7% year over year.
I want to ask you about something that seems very different in terms of what you're doing with Netflix on August 27th. So it's GTA 6, an extended look. What is this going to, can you tell us a little bit about this? I mean, is this like an extended, is it a game trailer? Is it a movie? Is it a show? What
you have asked all the questions that will be answered on the 27th.
Oh, come on, Strauss,
I expect you to show
a little bit of a hint.
The hint is, I think it's really worth watching. It's really worth watching. And 6 hours after the initial premiere, it'll be on Rockstar's YouTube channels. And of course, it will make its way all over social media.
Can you pre-order through the...
I don't think you need to.
Okay, do you think, since I think of you as a media mogul, and when I first saw this, I thought to myself, do you think Netflix, is Netflix really going to get into the gaming business in a whole new way? They're already a little bit in gaming. Could you see Netflix getting into gaming even more?
Look, they've hired some.
Isn't this kind of irrelevant? He's not the CEO of Netflix. Does this help the stock in any, like, the reason I'm saying this is only because generally speaking they only talk about the thing that the CEO has some level of control over, potentially, not always for sure, but and to be fair, Netflix is a buy, so I guess if I'm really thinking about it, it's not surprising that Andrew has brought this up, but Netflix getting into gaming ironically has like nothing to do, frankly, with Rockstar right now. Is
Talented, experienced, interactive entertainment executives. And we've made a bunch of deals with them. We've distributed many titles on the Netflix platform. And I think, I don't think it's any secret that their goal is to have as many subscribers as they can. And they want to deliver the best entertainment to those subscribers. So it stands to reason that they would make their way into the business. How they do that?
Yeah. Do you think they need to buy a company like maybe a company called,
Take Two?
Take Two?
So you'll have to ask Ted and Greg, not me, about where they want to go with that. I think historically, Netflix has not made big acquisitions.
That was such a CNBC question that I should have seen coming, is basically asking about M&As, which is asking about mergers and acquisitions. He's basically saying, because the thing is that if Strauss had anything that sounded even close to it, potentially, CNBC would have basically picked up the biggest story. Netflix picking up Take-Two Interactive, potentially, but Strauss, I don't think he's going to give that rumor any oxygen at all. It's a good question by Andrew, because it's kind of his job to get attention on the business news. So for him to speculate that, I get it.
Growing organically, and they've done a great job at it. And as far as us, I don't know. I think we're very proud of the way we built this company independently. We're now the largest pure play that's public in the space worldwide. We expect to have over $8 billion in revenue this year. We generate profits year in, year out. I don't mean to imply that that's easy or even predictable. We have to get up every morning and do it. But I think if anyone deserves to be an independent company, we do.
Let me flip it around in another sort of media mogul question for you. If David Ellison called you and said, look,
oh my God,
I'm in the gaming business, I got to stand up another film business. I need another.
Oh my gosh, this is such a CNBC question. David Ellison is another media mogul who has Paramount and I believe CBS now. And they're really going down the M&A questions in terms of big companies potentially buying. But this doesn't really seem relevant anymore. I'm a bit surprised Andrew's going this deep on it. I mean, Netflix, yes, you could see it because they're working with Rockstar, but Rockstar haven't announced anything happening on Paramount Plus, which is what David Ellison, for example, would be
company. I got to sell some great IP to ameliorate these state AGs. Would you want to get into the film business?
I was in the film business.
I know he'll sell you. Maybe he'll sell you Dune, some DC.
So I made
DC
a
characters, some other things like that.
I mean, potentially we could see. I mean, we'll see what Strauss Zelnick says first, but. Yeah.
But look, Andrew, I made a decision in 1993, before many of your viewers were alive, that it was time to exit the film business and go into what I believe would be the next huge entertainment business, the interactive entertainment business. Thankfully, it was a good career move. I was right. And that was a tiny little business in those days. Look, from my point of view, the motion picture business is a very difficult business economically. It's a wonderful business creatively. Now and then selectively, we expect to bring our intellectual property to the motion picture and television business with other people's money, not our own. And I think that tells you how I feel about it.
It's interesting because they were asking him specifically there about IP, which is intellectual property, essentially. And they were asking him about, I get it. Basically, they were trying to work out if we're going to see a GTA adaptation on Paramount. I think that's where Andrew was getting at there.